If you're looking to improve your business continuity strategy, a lot of people will get mixed up in a little bit of the journey and lose sight of the outcome they're looking for. And if you have fiduciary responsibility for capital, you're going to waste a lot of money.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Incident Report presented by Quest Technology Management. I'm Paul Burke, Director of Technology Communications. Every week, I'm joined by VP of Sales and Partnerships, Adam Burke. The Incident Report brings you conversations with thought leaders, business innovators, and channel mavericks to help you stay productive and agile in a changing technology landscape. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Incident Report. I'm your host. I'm half of your hosts, Paul Burke. Across from me, Adam Burke. How are you doing?
Good, Paul. Happy to be here. Eventful week. Fired up for what we're going to be talking about today. Let's get it going.
How was your week? Real quick, before we get it going. Good week?
Good week, active week. So, spoiler alert for those who don't know, one of our partners and one of the founders to one of the large national TSBs out there, Telaris, a guy named Patrick Oborn. If you don't know him, he just knocked out a 250-mile race in Arizona. Super ultra marathon, and congratulations to Patrick. He completed that this morning on May the 10th. I got to play a little small part in the support team, got to pace him as his first pacer earlier in the week, and got to join him for about 32 miles. I helped out with that, so a lot of fun. He always does a fun blog post, so we'll link to that when he writes up his summary, but it was a good week, a lot of fun.
What a crazy event when you can say 32 miles is helping somebody a small portion of the run.
It was a small portion of the run. I'll let him tell the story because it's his event. Doing hard things and people doing hard things. It's fun to watch people do difficult things. It reminds you that you can do difficult things. So I think it was really cool to be a small part of it. And congratulations to Patrick.
You know who's trying to do hard things, Adam? Broadcom. This is my smooth transition. Broadcom is trying to do hard things. They're doing a merger. And how's it going? A quick update with Adam Burke.
Well, it's going well for Broadcom. Their stock price is up. They're doing well. They're profitable, and things are going well for them. From a partner standpoint, there's still some frustration out there trying to get a good understanding of who's who in the zoo, who can quote, who can provide pricing, who can provide renewals, all that kind of stuff. They shut down the back office for the last couple of days. It's supposed to be coming back online. All VMware systems are coming online as Broadcom systems as of the 13th, I believe. So we might hear some new pricing adjustments or some new SKUs or things like that, which is always fun. Customers and partners are continuing to deal with that, right? So we're helping people where we can, and it's a lot of the IT infrastructure out there is built on VMware. So it's a little disruptive, but things are always changing. It's good to just to stay aware of it and help out where you can. So that's what we're doing.
I realized if somebody's listening for the first time, they might be like, what do you mean we're helping? Hey, everybody. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. We'll share more information about us down the road, but I forgot to mention that key piece of information. Let's jump over to channel futures. Adam, how to successfully manage large numbers of technology products and a growing customer base. I'd love to dive into it. This article discusses the importance of IT solutions and service providers in enabling business agility and navigating the complexities and rapid pace of technology innovation. The article highlights challenges faced by providers, such as managing numerous vendors and customers, keeping up with emerging technologies, and addressing customer economic concerns. It suggests that an ecosystem orchestration platform, an EOP, can help IT providers expand their choices, resources, and ability to act as trusted advisors for the customer. Adam, what were your thoughts on the article?
Yeah, so the title of the article caught my attention. I always find it interesting. I think one of the areas that we see the most opportunity is the growth of different technology products and clients trying to deal with how to tie those platforms together and get to a business outcome. This week is RSA, right? So RSA has been going on, a huge cybersecurity conference. Just the cybersecurity products alone, there are thousands of ways organizations are being advertised to and pursued by vendors to secure their endpoints, manage their networks, manage their east-west traffic, visibility, who's touching what, how are people accessing applications. There are a lot of different a lot of different vendors out there trying to capture that spend. And Quest has built a managed services practice and a consultant practice and an advisory and helping people procure technology that actually fits what they're trying to do. So the title is really what caught my attention. Reading through the article, it kind of gets there, but it kind of just lists out a lot of my issue with the article is it kind of just lists out a lot of the problems without necessarily speaking to the solution. In my mind, the solution is the discipline that applies to disaster recovery services is very similar to the discipline that applies to cybersecurity practices. The discipline that applies to procuring the appropriate technology, endpoint firewalls, switches, routers, software that people are subscribing to, that discipline applies the same to your development, your applications, and how you want to integrate, your SaaS platform with others, your security platform, how you're reporting on it. The discipline is the same. So I think a lot of people try to kind of confuse the idea that no, the way I approach security is different than the way I approach business continuity, is different than the way I approach product procurement efforts or application or unified communications.
When you say discipline, like what does that mean? Like every morning, I'm supposed to go work out. I have the discipline to work out every morning. When you're saying you need to have the discipline, what is the action?
Yeah, so sometimes an uncomfortable conversation you can have with a sales rep or with people trying to buy stuff is, why are you doing this? How is this affecting your business? What are you expecting to happen when you buy this new software package? What's the outcome you're expecting to happen? When you're investing in this application modernization project, why are you doing it? And try to quantify that. So the discipline around understanding why you're spending someone's money is sometimes it's not the fun conversation. No one likes the buzzkill around, well, you've done it this way for the last 5 years, and you heard at a conference AI, or you heard at a conference digital transformation, and you read some Gartner articles, and you went back to the team and you decided, hey, we're going to go through a digital transformation effort. Awesome. Could be a very cool thing for your company and could be a very great thing for your team. But the discipline around, okay, what does that mean? What investment dollars are required? And the desired end state, is that defined? And do you have the waypoints on the way to that end state to understand, is this a successful implementation? Did we get what we wanted to get out of this? How are we evaluating success? I see a lot of people jump into these projects and they haven't defined the outcome they're looking for. The problem, and we talked about like Patrick doing the 250-mile race, right? If you don't commit to the fact that I'm going to finish this race and here's how I'm going to get there and here's my plan and here's the contingencies if something goes wrong along the way, most people would quit and fail to achieve that objective. And that's where I'm talking about the discipline of when you're building out a cybersecurity strategy and purchasing equipment, purchasing technology to address your vulnerabilities, or if you're looking to improve your business continuity strategy, a lot of people will get mixed up in a little bit of the journey and lose sight of the outcome they're looking for. That's a really poor way. And if you have fiduciary responsibility for capital, you're going to waste a lot of money doing that.
I thought about this earlier this week. So I just bought a new drone. And here's the thing. I bought it because I wanted to get better drone footage. I wanted to be a better pilot. But I realized when I unboxed it and started flying, it's not the drone that I need. It's not the tool. The tool's great, but if I don't know how to use the tool, if I don't practice flying it, I'm not going to get better drone footage. So I think that's kind of a good example. I think it's very similar to this, where it's like we always talk about buying the tool isn't the solution. How do you implement it? How do you have the discipline to practice, in my case, flying the drone, implementing that tool?
Yeah, that's exactly right. How are you actually planning on leveraging that tool? How are you, in the discipline around it is everyone likes to buy a shiny new shiny new piece of gear. I don't care if it's a
Mhm.
firewall or if it's a drone or if it's a new pair of running shoes or a new truck. You're not going to be a better driver because you bought the Tesla truck, right? It doesn't make you a better driver. Just I won't make any cracks about the Tesla trucks and how ugly they are. It's that discipline of understanding the outcome you're looking for, regardless of the technology that you're investing in. That's critical, and that's where, this article talks a lot about that. I think that's how Quest has been successful because we apply that same discipline and kind of our core thesis about how we can help customers stays pretty consistent across whatever area we're operating in. Now, it doesn't change. Our strategy doesn't change on how to engage with customers, whether it's a professional services engagement or a cybersecurity engagement
Mhm.
or a product resale or transaction. The strategy is the strategy. I know people use this. I overuse this, but if you know the way you see it in all things, that's pretty much I think how you can help in the IT space. It's the same game, just reapplied to a different tool set.
Let's jump over to Adam. How about ConvergeOne? They file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And if you don't know about the ConvergeOne bankruptcy, here's a little bit of information. They're one of the nation's largest solution providers. C1 filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection due to several factors that they cited: rising interest rates and the bankruptcy of major vendor partner, likely Avaya, but I don't think they specified in the article, but likely Avaya, and the liquidity issues resulting in lower than forecasted revenue. The company aims to reduce its debt by approximately 80% and obtain new equity commitments to continue operations.
Yeah, this was a big one. It came out a couple weeks ago and was a bit of a surprise. This is a billion-dollar company, significant revenue over the last couple of years, has gone through multiple acquisitions, right? So they've purchased a lot of other integration partners and things like that. And they had a pretty significant investment, I believe, from CVC, private equity group. And one of the issues that we're seeing here, and this is the reason I want to talk about this, is nothing to do with ConvergeOne necessarily, but more of kind of a signal of what could be happening in the channel and what we're seeing out there. What happens when private equity comes in? Sometimes private equity strategy is leverage, right? So leverage means adding debt to an organization's balance sheet to acquire and grow their EBITDA. And that works out really well when debt is cheap, right? It's not like, so when sometimes people think like, oh, well, interest rates are changing. I have my house and it's like got a 3% interest rate or, 3.5 or 4% or whatever. Doesn't really matter that mortgage rates are now 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever percent. In the private equity world, that interest rate usually is oftentimes is a floating interest rate and is going to be affected by market changes. So when you see interest rates spike up, and you hear on CNBC or whatever that, oh yeah, the 10-year treasury is, 5%, that means that the interest rate that banks are actually paying or charging, excuse me, the banks make money on top of that. And then the private equity guys have to go either to the private banking institutions or what's called mezzanine capital, and they get basically a higher interest rate. So let's say, I don't know if ConvergeOne did this or not, but let's just say as an example, if you leverage your balance sheet 6 to 7 times your EBITDA, and now your interest rate has gone from 5% on $1 billion to 10 to 12 to 13% on $1 billion worth of leverage, or $500,000 worth of leverage, or whatever they levered up to accommodate those acquisitions. All of your net cash flow is now going to service your debt. That can be really, really impactful to a business. It kind of limits your availability to make strategic decisions or investments or things like that. It's kind of an anchor to your company, right? So I think the CVC guys got blown out. I think they lost all their equity and the debt holders took over. They're repackaging the company. The company's not going to go away. They're going to emerge from bankruptcy and keep rolling on. But it's not a canary in the coal mine. This is more of like, this is a big one. And there's going to be some more folks. I think, what was the gentleman's name? He's Martin Wolf. He's an M&A advisor, pretty well-known guy in the VAR world. I think he's interested in seeing, and he comments in the article around, yeah, this could be a little bit of a signal of some other things when people are dealing with, over leveraged balance sheets in the channel, and just some challenges that are coming down the road for folks that maybe use a little bit too much debt. That's gonna cause some problems. And he even brings up my favorite Warren Buffett quote: "Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's swimming naked." Love that Warren Buffett quote. But yeah, Martin called that one out.
So, what does a partner do in moments like this? I feel like if we're talking about the coal mine collapsing, and to kind of keep playing off that metaphor, all the partners are walking around the coal mine. What should they be looking for to kind of like protect themselves and guard themselves?
Diversify your suppliers, right? So make sure you have diversified streams of income. You're not, so ConvergeOne kind of calls out the Avaya bankruptcies and some of the challenges with Avaya. If you build your entire business around one vendor, you could be in trouble. If you build so it also calls on the article that about 55% of their revenue was hardware resale one-time CapEx transactions. That can be lumpy. Revenue can be lumpy in that space, big hits, but then a couple quarters, maybe nothing. It's rough, right? CapEx only is rough. So diversify your types of income streams that are coming in. CapEx is great, OpEx is great. I'd say diversify that, and then be really careful of leverage. Be very, very careful of leverage. It works out great on the way up. We saw it in the housing crisis, and I know it's 2024 now, and I can't believe that was 16 years ago when that whole situation blew up. But a lot of our neighbors who all of a sudden started driving around in Mercedes and BMWs and had the same job for 10 years and pulled out giant HELOC loans on their house or refinanced and pulled out equity.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of back to our other conversation. If you know the way, you see it in all things like this, it's not a new game. Like leverage is dangerous, and you got to be careful personally and in your business. Be careful with that. It can help you a lot, but it can also blow up in your face.
You know who also needs to be careful, Adam? Are people who are hiring in sales. And that's why, if you're over on channelfutures.com, you can check out a little article called Agent Group Seeks to End Bad Sales Hires with AI-Based Profiling. The article discusses the launch of a profiling tool by the Technology Channel Sales Professionals, the TCSP Trade Association, designed to help technology advisors or agents identify top sales talent. TCSP partnered with Actus IQ, a tech sales tool provider, to develop an agent-focused version of their platform. The tool aims to address the challenge many agents face in hiring effective enterprise-focused sales personnel, as a bad sales hire can significantly impact a business's bottom line. So using a little AI to find the right team.
Yeah, no, I love it. At Quest, we've used personality tests and understanding what people's strengths are and where they like to fit. Everyone's kind of got their own flavor of this, but basically understanding, where people will do the best in the team based on their own self-perception and on their actual strengths. I love the fact that they're using this from an automation standpoint to figure out who could be a good agent or who could be a good salesperson. That being said, well, here's the thing. Every time I've ever hired, so we've been using, two predictive things within Quest for about the last, 15, 20 years. Every time I've ever hired outside of that, so I'll go to Mike or Tim or someone on the team and be like, hey, I think this person's going to be great. And they look at the scores and they're like, no. I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot. So I've touched the stove like 3 or 4 times and gotten burned every single time. Every time. Every time didn't work out. 100% wrong. So I love it. I think it's a great idea. I know some people might not like it because it classifies people as here's your strength, here's your weaknesses. And I know everyone thinks that everyone's just 100% malleable and can do anything. But yeah, it does take a certain type of person to be an agent or to be a sales rep. And it's a different skill set. Some people are great project coordinators and managers. Some people are great service managers. Some people are strong engineers, and some people shouldn't be in IT at all. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I'm gonna check out that AI tool, see what it looks like.
Adam, another episode in the books. I'm gonna go do my strength, which is edit this podcast in a second. But first, Adam, anything coming up you're excited about?
One thing I would love to talk about is we're having some great feedback on our Bootcamp series. New Bootcamps for 2024. We've done 3 so far. We just wrapped up our infrastructure services Bootcamp. We're going to be talking about application development and cybersecurity and a couple others coming up.
That's on May 22nd.
Yeah, so May 22nd is our next Bootcamp. These are all recorded too in our partner portal, which is accessible to anyone who would like to take a look at them. But the boot camps are really effective. Forever you kind of worry about like, well, do you share your strategy? Do you not share your strategy? Do you talk about how the sausage is made? And we're having a lot of success with our partners and our agents and people working with Quest, just letting them know, hey, here's how we approach this. This is what we believe in. This is why we do what we do. And here's how we think you do more in that space. So it's not technical. It's not like speeds and feeds. For those of you who love, marketing speak and super sexy slides and drum beats and laser light shows, not that type of presentation.
It is very interactive. If you have questions, Adam's there to answer all the questions. I think one of the reasons we're getting such good feedback is it is very personal and it is very accessible, and we're there to help you succeed.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do, right? We want to have like real conversations, and hey, here's what we're seeing happen, and here's how we're helping clients, and here's how you can make money doing that. So that's been a lot of fun, and I think we're gonna be continuing to do that throughout the year. And yeah, the next one's coming up. Was it May 22nd, Paul?
I'll be sure to have a link in the description. Yeah, we'd love to see you. So
absolutely.
Adam, have a great week. Everybody listening, thank you for being here, and we will see you soon with the next incident report.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much for listening. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. With over 40 years of experience, Quest is a leading technology integrator working seamlessly with your staff and systems to achieve your IT goals. Learn more about everything they do at questsys.com. And if you have questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can always email Adam and myself at theincidentreport@questsys.com. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.